South Stevens Hall on the University of Maine campus is home to the Anthropology Department and the Northeast Archaeology Lab. Dr. Bonnie Newsom is the director of the lab.
My name is Bonnie Newsom. I'm an assistant professor of anthropology and associate faculty for the Climate Change Institute. My main focus is the archaeology of Maine, primarily life in Maine prior to European contact. I have an interest in native lifeways and how people lived on Maine's landscape before Europeans arrived. Within that scope, I have an interest in archaeological ceramics, and folks in Maine made pottery for about the last 3,000 years before Europeans came here, and I have an interest in studying those ceramics. Running the lab is it's exciting. What we do here is we have the opportunity to bring in materials from an archaeological site and understand and begin to try and understand the people that made them. And so this is the first step in terms of our interpretation of the materials that we bring in.
Archaeology starts here, in the field. Every other year, the University of Maine offers an archaeological field school for students to learn proper excavation techniques. Students learn how to properly excavate, sift, and recover artifacts, as well as how to record data in an accurate and scientific way. In the field, the main goal is not to interpret, but to record and recover artifacts. Artifacts are tagged with separate labels and are organized into individual baggies. Those baggies are then placed in a larger bag which contains all of the artifacts from the same pit. The interpretations and analyses don't start until the artifacts get back to the lab. Here, student lab technicians unpack, unbag, and organize all of the artifacts brought in from the excavation season. While the technicians are reorganizing the artifacts, they take a second look to make sure what was brought in were actually artifacts. In the field, when things are covered in dirt, it's often hard to tell a stone, stick, bone, or pottery shard apart. It's not uncommon for someone to accidentally label and collect something that isn't an artifact at all. Shown here is a technician organizing various animal bones in order to start their analysis. To start their analysis, the technician looks at the bones one by one. Technicians look at the size and shape of the remains to determine the animal's overall size and potential species. Burn, tool, and damage marks are also identified and recorded. Occasionally, technicians may use a microscope to look for any marks that might be missed with the naked eye. Striations or other types of microabrasions may easily be overlooked or misidentified without the help of a microscope. Technicians must also record a number of physical attributes of the artifacts. Maximum length, width or thickness, weight, and color are just some examples of what must be recorded for most artifacts. All of these attributes can help archaeologists make interpretations about the humans that left these artifacts behind. Once the proper measurements are taken, technicians record their findings in a catalog that contain all of the information for the other artifacts of that type. After the artifacts are properly cataloged, the technicians relabel any misidentified artifacts before rebagging for storage. Some artifacts require special storage, such as being stored with acid-free paper, aluminum foil, or an individual plastic container to ensure that the artifact will not take any damage while in storage. The bagged artifacts are then placed into their storage boxes, put into their designated space, and kept secure until they are needed for further analysis or research.
So we have a number of students, graduate students and undergraduates working in the lab, and graduate students generally use the materials in the lab to form the basis for a research question that they're exploring for their thesis or other projects. For example, I have one student who's looking at some pottery for his thesis from down East Maine. I also have another student who analyzes dog bone to understand what dogs are eating in the past. And so it's those kinds of questions that students will be exploring with regard to people living in the past here in Maine, as well as trying to understand what they're seeing in terms of the material culture that was left behind. I wish that folks realize that archaeology is first and foremost about people and not artifacts. What we do is we try and understand the lives of people living in the past through the study of their material remains. And so a lot of times folks seem to think that we are interested in studying the artifacts, and we are, but we're studying it with the goal of understanding people.